You're listening to the Jōrni Podcast. In today's episode, we talk about divorce, grief, and loss, and how the beautiful vision of one chiropractor is supporting women healers online. Hi, I'm Petra Brunbauer, and with decades of experience with sadness, pain, anxiety, and stress, I finally figured out how to leave all that behind. And this podcast shows you how to break free permanently so you can reclaim your sanity and find the self-esteem and energy to go after the life you desire. With real talk about mental health, holistic healing, and the tough journey of coming out the other end. This is the Jōrni Podcast. In this episode, chiropractor Dr. Jennifer Dotto shares her journey through the grief of divorce and how that pain brought her to the beautiful vision for supporting women healers online. Dr. Jennifer has been a practicing chiropractor for the past 17 years. She has been working in traditional chiropractic methods, functional medicine, nutrition response testing, autonomic response testing, and more recently, new paradigm multidimensional transformation. She is also a gluten-free mom and has written a guide to going gluten-free to help people transition into a gluten-free lifestyle. In 2019, she experienced divorce in which betrayal was the overriding theme. She treated herself kindly during this time and reached out to therapists and her colleagues in the holistic healing methods, including hypnotherapy, to move her through the periods of grief and loss of a marriage. Currently, she's working to develop a program to help other women healers reach more people by creating online courses and give them the financial stability and freedom they all deserve. Here is my interview with Dr. Jennifer Dotto about chiropractic, grief, and bringing women healers together. Hi, Jennifer. It's wonderful to have you on the podcast today. I've been wanting to explore chiropractors and chiropractics and holistic healing, so I'm very excited to chat with you. Welcome, and how are you doing today?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got into the holistic healthcare world and when did you first find chiropractic?
I found chiropractic in college, but I knew even as a young person, I always had the interest in alternative healing, alternative healthcare. I remember in high school going to the bookshop and picking up books on essential oils or finding videos on yoga and yoga poses. And this was in the old days when they had the VHS, the VHS tapes, and going through books and just always interested in that type of world and that space. And I was thinking about for myself what I wanted my life to look like and what I wanted my career to look like. And when I had been in college, I worked actually in a career center where I was helping other people do career searches. So even having the time to dig into that was when I discovered that chiropractic would be a great way to run your own business, kind of do it your way, and still be able to take care of people in a healthcare facility.
Mm-hmm. You know, there might be some listeners on this podcast that don't know what VHS is. Just to
I know.
put that out. It does make me feel a little old.
Those big black tapes carry around that were all heavy and took up a lot of space.
Oh, that's so funny. And you sound really business minded, even from when you were in college. What types of business have you been involved in your 17 years of practice?
I have actually, and even before the chiropractic, I had gone to massage therapy school and was a massage therapist for about a year and a half while I was going to chiropractic school. So I feel like the body work part of things was already in me.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted more knowledge and more responsibility and more ways to help other people. So the way that I was able to take the massage therapy into the chiropractic, I was in positions where I worked with someone. I was in a position where I ran my own business for 6 years. And then when I had children, I kind of stepped away from it and worked for someone again. And now I'm working currently as an independent contractor. The great thing about chiropractic is you can kind of take your own spin on it, make it an art form. It is you are the healer, and there isn't a way to what you do is special,
Mhm.
and what the next chiropractor does is special. And so you just are there to sort of serve and find the right people who are the best fit for you so the healing can begin.
Mhm. Yes, that's very powerful. And I love chiropractics. I've actually worked with several chiropractors for probably the last 20 years, and it's changed my life from, car accident injuries to I broke my foot. So chiropractics has been a really
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
of my
Yes.
healing journey too.
Yes. That's something people always forget, right? They always think, oh, a chiropractor just does the spine. They only just know about the back. And, at our office, we're working on shoulders, elbows, wrists, knees, and feet all the time. And it's such a remarkable change to see just a small adjustment, say in your foot, how you feel like you can stand better or, move your foot around easier.
It's really amazing. I even had some chiropractics done for kind of like a lock jaw. Sometimes
Yes.
I get that, and it was
Yes.
really effective for that too. So I've kind of found that no matter what I come up with, there's usually a solution from the chiropractor.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's
Yes.
really amazing. So let's talk a little bit about a bit more emotional subject and how that relates to how you got into the holistic healing as well. Because when we chatted before, we talked a little bit about your divorce
Yes.
and what kind of experiences you went through during that time. Do you want to share a
Right.
bit about that?
Yes. So I had been surprised by my husband at that time that he was not interested in being married anymore, and he wanted to go separate ways. At that point, we had a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. So that was kind of a big shock and a big moment of change. And how do I pivot through this stressful time? And when you're a healer, when you enter back into the clinic room and in front of the patient, you have to put all that aside. And I could tell for myself, obviously, because I'm a human being, that that was quite a challenge to try to separate that, what's going on in your mind or your body, and going through a grieving process, but still trying to be there for the person who is hurting and is there for you and asking for your help. So in a way, it can be very helpful and supportive to me, knowing that there's people who are coming to me, who are seeing me as value, who are needing my care, while you're also going through sort of a process of rejection on another emotional level. And at the time of the divorce process, I had stepped away from the employee model and was trying to dive into a new model of chiropractic, where there was more nutritional counseling, there was gentle force adjusting. I was working in a healing wellness center where there was a lot of other holistic healthcare practitioners. So when I was going through that as a support network, the women who I was working with all sort of gathered around and helped give me a big hug and hold me and use their own healing modalities, especially one specifically that I used was hypnotherapy.
Mhm.
And what I found with her was we were able to talk out at that moment or that day what I was emotionally feeling. And she would walk me through a hypnosis that we could see peace with it, that we could sort of work on releasing the pain of that moment, and just little bits each time we did the series. We probably had about 10, 12 sessions over a few months. And I felt that healing accelerate for me each time I was able to work with her, because I was able to deeply release some old trauma wounds that were coming up from that divorce and the process of seeing my kids only half the time, and financial woes, and selling a house, and then you add in like just about a pandemic to that. You're
Yes.
like, this is a lot.
Yes,
But
that is.
luckily, I felt like the universe put me in the right place at the right time so I could be held in a supportive way. I also used, talk therapy too, and obviously had lots of family support. But that was something that was really pivotal to me in my healing process.
Hmm. And so going through a divorce, I mean, it can often be likened almost to experiencing grief because you are losing
Yeah,
something or even part of yourself during that
absolutely.
time. And so as you're kind of processing all those emotions that come with that grief and you're trying to sort of put your life back together, find your feet, if you will,
Mhm.
you mentioned that you work with hypnotherapy and also talk therapy. Were there any other holistic healing supports that you found that helped you through your grief?
Yes, I had worked also with an acupuncturist who was also a shaman. And I did a shamanic healing with her. And something that was remarkable about her gift was I remember walking in there and I said, I'm brokenhearted. My heart hurts. And if you're thinking about the heart chakra, or you're thinking about the energy system there, you can feel the pain. And when I went through that shamanic journey with her, that is the part of the shaman's theory that when a person undergoes a traumatic event, they have sort of a breakup of their soul. So there's a
Mhm.
piece of it out in your energy field. And she went through and did her healing. And when I was done with that shamanic healing, that pain in my heart and my energy system was gone.
Oh.
And having that moment of feeling back sort of like a whole person again also helps me, reflect on the power of this type of work and how much I was hurting and how much I felt the difference of a healing person, to not walk around feeling broken forever, to be determined to take steps that you found comfortable or aligned with your own values to heal your body, soul, body, mind.
Mhm. Exactly. And I mean, I'm really glad that you're sharing this on the podcast because I always find that there's many women out there that kind of feel like that state that they're in, whether it be grief or anxiety or stress, it feels sort of final, that you don't have a choice, you'll never get out of it. And it's
Mhm.
really good to hear that you have found ways and methods to help yourself heal through that, and that you have found something that helped you put yourself back together in a
Yeah,
sense.
and it
Because there
was,
can be
yeah.
that real sense of desperation that there just will be nothing out there that will change it. So thank you so
Yes,
much for sharing that.
yes, you're welcome.
Now, through that journey that you went through, you not only have your chiropractic business, but you also do something very special for women healers. Would you like to explain a little bit
Yes.
about that?
Right. So when now I'm here 3 years later after my divorce, I am still working as a chiropractic and a mother, and lots of hats, right? But something I felt that I was wanting to do and calling for, especially how much small businesses were affected during the pandemic, and many holistic healers who were in a small brick and mortar shop and had to close down, and some are still being affected by a lot of that.
Mhm.
What I wanted to do was help them take their business, which they love to heal because they do this one-on-one work, they love it, but to be able to give them access to training for creating courses online, to be able to have a product that they can sell, a digital product that could be sold again and again and again, but also that was something that aligned to their own healing. So when a person is a healer, there are a lot of things that they say to a client, each client many times.
Mhm.
So this would be something where whatever those repeatable items are that they use, trainings or meditations or suggestions, that they can create a small course online to help facilitate more healing for that patient. So when they are busy with other clients, they can still get supported by their practitioner.
Mhm.
So my business is called the Business Accelerator for Healers. And what I'm going to do with that business is grow that support network for the healers who are in business for themselves. Sometimes they have a business mind per se, and sometimes they don't. and they need a little bit of guidance. And most holistic healers, there isn't a business class that goes along with it. Once you feel
Yes.
you want to do what you want to do, you just want to help people. But some people need the vehicle to be able to do that. So that vehicle, I want to help with them facilitate their own wealth and growth and help more people.
And it's really important that you're doing this work because women healers in particular, I believe, add such a variety to this fabric of holistic healing, and to give women more choices. So to have more women healers available and offering their programs all over the world, I think that's a really, really important thing that needs to be supported. There need to be more women healers out there.
Yes, they're absolutely. And there are so many wonderfully gifted people who, unless you don't know about them, unless they're really telling you about it. And if they don't know how to show you, people are suffering. People need these women. This is the beginning of that divine feminine that's coming. And these women need to be empowered in that way to help support themselves, each other, and many people who are needing of that healing.
Exactly. And especially as you mentioned during the pandemic, it's kind of put a spotlight on the fact how important it is that we do put ourselves out there on the internet, because that shut down a lot of physical businesses, and all of a sudden, a lot of healers couldn't access their clientele anymore.
Right.
And a lot of women couldn't access the healing services anymore. So yes, that's a really fantastic idea. And I'm going to ask you a really cheeky question. So why are you the best person to solve this healing problem?
Very good question. Well, the reason why is because I am that person, because I have come through trials, tribulations, traumatic events in my life, going through grief, walking through a pandemic as a single parent with 2 small children, trying to run a business. How do you keep going? How do you get this figured out? And I myself am a leader and a role model. And what I want to do and what lights me up is to help other people with my experience be able to access their gifts that gives them wealth and success. Those things are okay to have, and they are valuable for each of these holistic healthcare practitioners. It's not just about what we think about business. Sometimes people go, oh, it's just about the money, or you're thinking about that. But no, it's about building wealth and value in your community, in your life. And my job is to help support those women, guide them through, and help them shine their gifts to the world.
Yeah, and you do mention another really important thing is, if we don't have the income to support ourselves as holistic healers, unfortunately, at some point, we're going to have to close the doors. So even though this might not be about, money for some people, it's still a necessity that the lights get kept on, the website gets put up. And in order to continue this really important work, there does need to be some sort of income. So I think it's really great that you're putting that out there and actually teaching. I know a lot of holistic healers are almost afraid to ask for compensation for their services, but it is so important that we also get rid of that stigma so that we can put more holistic healers online and help even more people.
Yeah, and more people that value that, and that money exchange, that interaction of healing for a money exchange helps sometimes take that feeling of stigma out of it too. It's a mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking us into your world. I really
Thank you.
love talking about your perspective on things. And we will be linking to your offerings in the show notes. So I just want to encourage our listeners to check out those show notes and have a look at how they can reach you and how they could potentially work together with you. And before we close out this episode, do you have any sort of final bits of wisdom or something you'd like to say to our listeners?
What I would say is just remember that if you feel like you're in the fog, just keep taking a step forward. If you feel like your body's, walking through muck and you're in a dark place, just keep walking forward. Don't give up. You can find that light at the end of the tunnel. Keep reaching, keep looking. Don't give up.
That's very, very powerful. Thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, it is something that we're all faced with, I think, at one point or another as we're struggling through things, is that kind of thought that when is the point that we should give up? And it's true. We just need to keep going and finding something. Yeah. So again, thank you so much. This has been an incredible episode. And I really hope that our listeners have enjoyed this journey into chiropractics and holistic healing and supporting women healers online as much as I have. And it has been fantastic to have you on the podcast. And I really hope we get to do it again.
Sounds wonderful.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen in. If you enjoy the Jōrni Podcast, please subscribe, share on social media, and leave us a review. And be sure to get your copy of our brand new ebook called Break Free. Sending you love and courage, and see you next week. Until then, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Jōrni blog.